Here's my currency, have fun Chanel, coin lady. The focus of today's film is on a possible look into the future. Keep in mind that there are no assurances. People may have fallen for the bait, lure, and deception, though. What do I mean when I say that people initially put money into Bitcoin because of what, for example? To bring down the existing monetary order. Aiming to get rid of financial institutions. In order to return authority to the people and all that jazz. But first, let us elaborate on the likely trajectory this will take in the future. We are pretty well out of options. Right. Apparently, Kim has abandoned you people, right? Or at least temporarily pausing their activities. KIM.com. Where will the world be? I wondered to myself. How about in the next decade? Right. In the year 510 AD. So, gentlemen, close your eyes and see the future. Do you think it will be a utopia? Maybe even more of a gloomy future. There will be better times ahead, I truly believe that. You guys are way ahead of the game. Right? Why? Due to the rapid expansion of peace. In the modern era, also known as the Age of Gold. However, no promises can be made. Nothing, I assume. Let's see what occurs, I have no idea. To begin, perhaps this is the direction humanity is actually moving. Everything will be digitized and linked to cryptocurrency networks. This is the first time I've ever seen one of these outside of non-financial advice, and I spotted it at Whole Foods. Yes, crypto. Please use Palm money as payment. That's insane, right? Right? Is it happening now then? Perhaps? Perhaps it's because he uses this as payment for silver almost exclusively. In the meantime, it looks like this guy gives the barber a hand as he pays. We are developing into an alien culture. I don't think most people appreciate the danger involved. Do you plan to get that surgically implanted? Guys? What is this? Right? So, he can settle up now. And then he asks, so, how'd you pay? Please explain. And you folks definitely have nothing sinister lurking beneath the surface, right? So, and it's funny because David Schwartz really commented on how the 2020 thing expedited where this role is going and towards the entity we're going to talk about in a second. We can speculate about where XRP fits in, or how these cryptocurrencies duped their users, but for now, let's just give in to the gods. Actually, quite a few folks did. Right. Some didn't, and that's because I didn't buy XRP with the idea that we'd use it to overturn the government. Right. In a moment, we'll begin discussing. However, the adoption of such embedded digital identifiers by the general public must come first. Right. They've exaggerated the problems, but they haven't beaten us over the head with their proposed remedies yet, which is ironic because that's the purpose of the largest psyops right now. Consider the case of viral retail robberies. What else, other a digital ID, will be required for use with smart gates? False documents and stolen identities, right? We have to establish our identity. Therefore, we are not a computer program. Right? Vote buying by a computerized con artist. There is still more work to do to ensure fair elections. We've known for a long time that blockchain voting using cryptocurrency will be the solution to ensuring a fair election. Response and remedy to an issue. Obviously, those items can be used to make that detection immediately. Right. When it finally dawns on us. Give us a circle, and we'll stay in one place and be safer. Therefore, it seems that having some sort of biometric digital ID is essential to their success. The digital economy of the future. No one in authority is taking any chances. Right? In other words, we plan to use subliminal messaging to convince people to embrace this technology. And they're the ones who cause the issues, right? First gauge public opinion, then introduce the fix. Right? Here, Ripple is something we'll be discussing in the near future, men. I'm not lying to you, okay? Wait a second. and now we begin. They discuss what biometric authentication is in their own words, but the boom comes from Baba Coxwell Spoon. And is there any sort of cooperation or partnership including crypto, blockchain, or cryptocurrency in general? Because, quote, we're launching a zero-knowledge biometric identification platform that preserves privacy and eliminates the need to choose between security, privacy, and the user experience. David Schwartz, co-creator of the keyless entry system, hosts this episode. Okay. Before we listen to a brief excerpt from the podcast, let's define biometric authentication. First, let's take a look. Okay. You're probably aware that biometric authentication is a method used in cybersecurity to confirm a user's identification by comparing identifying characteristics to a stored database. When a user logs into their access and storage accounts, the biometric authentication system sorts data to ensure they are who they say they are. For instance, we were just having this conversation. Right? I mean, come on, what do you think this looks like to everyone else? Space, yes, you guessed it, China. Just dig around online a bit. The guys over there always have the latest news first. It should arrive at this point, right? The fact that this came from Ripple makes it all the more hilarious. Yes, it's fine to use a consolidated power source along with infant beaches. And I'll just drop the whole podcast or video link to your shows here, guess go. Guys, I recommend you watch the entire thing. I was able to see most of it. However, I did come across an intriguing fact. Within this context, have a look at this, gentlemen. Mission at speeds I had never even dreamed of before. On their earnings call, Microsoft effectively stated that the past 2 weeks have seen 2 years' worth of digital transformations take place. Therefore, I believe that companies are rapidly migrating their operations online. Yes, identification and identity are now crucial to facilitating this change. There's no denying that this has sped up the spread of such technology. What do you make of a shift like that, Paolo? This discussion centers on the year 2020 and the event that triggered the speed with which everything else happened. You guys want to write about a broken something? I can't say. There must have been an event in that timeline. I don't know, guys, it just looks weird, because just after nothing happened, the roll ended up right here. Right? It's basically the same, but what most people miss is how rapidly the underlying technologies behind cryptocurrencies are developing. Same transition, but I'm not trying to scare you guys, this is what the future will look like. In no uncertain terms, no. Just illustrating that what I observe is possible through observation. But how could this possibly be bad? That's a plus, right? Can we rule out the possibility of a dystopian or utopian future? I mean, Mr. Poole did tell us not to cry over imagined difficulties in the future. Since it's possible that this isn't the future of mankind. Then, out of nowhere, Baba Cooks makes a statement that leads directly to, oh, I have to go back. Excuse me, I totally spaced out on that detail. Now, going through the comments, you'll see some people saying, guys, this biometric authentication sounds kind of suspicious, let's focus on XRP's utility instead. Communities taking the next step are hedging their bets very carefully. That's the worst part. That's right. In fact, some people can't wait. I'm curious as to your thoughts on this. Right? Let's hear what Bob, statement check, has to say about that. Do you recall that I, oh so patiently, counted down the days till 2 years ago, when Ripple finally implemented the biometric system so that they could moon? Your fingerprints and retinal scans are already in the system, so there's no need for us to explain how it works in the morning. And here's the point, like, what do you think the future will be like? Everything is digital today, but I really hope we never have to know someone's fingerprints or the color of their eyes. The years ahead will be glorious. What, you don't want to keep that in your home when I come to visit? As soon as it detects my presence, the lights and music will start playing automatically. My channel just changed, boom. The coffee suddenly begins to drip. That right there is paradisiacal. There's zero obligation on my part. I want that tomorrow. That's the kind of future I'm looking for. Again, you folks are right about the convenience, and maybe you're right about where people got duped or fooled or whatever. That's because Bitcoin extremists put their money into the currency hoping to bring down the financial elite. What happened to the banking system? Banks benefited from it in a real way. As public awareness of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the like continues to grow, so too is the likelihood that we'll incorporate cryptos into our daily lives. Introducing XRP. It's a little different with XRP, right? Since XRP may soon be of assistance to them as well, right? But XRP isn't only going to help their side, obviously, the whole globe will benefit from its lower fees and faster, cheaper, more efficient value transfers. Equally important is openness. So, no, I didn't buy XRP anticipating that it will eventually be phased out of existence. Actually, I started buying XRP when I first heard that it was meant to aid financial institutions. I didn't think crypto would, but I guess it has in a way. It's already causing some people with clinical issues to flee the system as we speak, since it's shedding light on the pressing issues we face. Not to mention, if you have control of your own keys, then theoretically no one else can access your funds. Especially if you keep it away from the regulated markets, of course. Again, I suppose both good and bad can result from technological advancements. Keep in mind that technology is, in the end, apolitical. Therefore, I don't think we're headed toward a dystopian future. Rather, I think we're headed towards a more optimistic future. Again, it seems like blockchain-based cryptocurrencies and payments are revolutionizing the flow of capital. Since his finest followers share his conviction that tokenization will have far-reaching effects across industries, every product in existence is fair game. Stocks, bonds, real estate derivatives, and carbon markets are all potential venues for trading tokenized assets. Do you agree that tokenizing real-world assets signifies a sea change in the financial industry? The rules and tours in the financial sector need to change because, in the end, what's the point? Do we have to go completely crazy before things start to change? At least some people are waking up to the fact that our society is slowly but surely falling over a cliff as we watch helplessly from a distance as other countries address their problems with our tax dollars. That settles it. There are always two sides to a story, but this was not only a fantastic decision but also a truly mind-blowing experience. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe.